Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. Oh, I'm playing the soundtrack again. All right, here we go. Episode 117. Altai here, joined this week by
Omer.
There it is. And let's go right to the weekly raid.
Right to it. Not messing around this time. This is serious business.
Some of you might not know, but today is a special day. Today is the day that the Founders Program for The Amazing Eternals has begun. And I don't know how popular it is exactly. I don't have any hard numbers. But I do know the website was down when I checked. So, live in front of all of you, let's check to see if the homepage is still down on the first day of their early access. Oh, it's up, so we can sign up. Oh, it's got music. I hate that. Become a founder, boys. Let's look at the prices here. Okay. I can pay in tokens? Oh, no, we start with those tokens. Okay, here we go. $20. You can get started. So between... Oh, and the top one is $250. So what is the Amazing Eternals, you might say? This is a hero shooter. This seems to be the latest craze. And the weekly raid has to do with hero shooters.
Hold on. Is that a $1,000 founder pack that we just saw in there?
$250. Oh, you're right. There's a. Oh, I didn't even see that. It's like below the other one.
We can't skip past that because hold on.
Okay.
$1,000. That is. This is taking it to the extreme. We see $1,000 bundles when it comes to crowdfunded games pretty often. But I don't think we've seen a $1,000 founders pack from a legit company yet. Like Nexon hasn't done anything that crazy. We haven't seen it in really anything else.
Wow, that is impressive. All right, back to the site real quick. We will get back to founders pack prices. Believe me. So the main thing though is this is a hero shooter, and here's a little bit of gameplay. Some guys talking about the game. Basically, you pick a hero, and unfortunately for me, there's cards, guys. This game has cards. Okay, you make a deck. You go into play with the deck. So instead of like casting a spell, you gotta like draw some cards or something, and then play those cards to get like a weapon. I'm not a big fan of this. I like card games like Hearthstone, Varia and stuff, but I don't like it when you put them into shooters. I feel like it bogs it down. But more importantly, guys, what do you think of this new craze? Hero shooters are the new MOBAs, in my opinion. And this is my weekly raid explaining my thesis. Agree, disagree, do share your comments. Omar, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I don't think the whole card thing is a deal breaker at all. We know we talked about this at length when we played Paladins for the first time. Before Paladins was remade, the card system played a pretty big role in the game. And I actually really liked it because it let you kind of have a different experience every time. I mean, maybe it could have been done better, but it's not an instant like no-go for me. But I do think we are seeing too many hero shooters now. I mean, what really got this ball rolling is clearly Overwatch, right? How much money Overwatch made, how successful it became. And after Overwatch, it's when Paladins decided to kind of revamp their system. I know people are saying Paladins came out well before Overwatch, and it did, but it kind of remade itself. The new Paladins is not old Paladin, and it's much closer to Overwatch. So everyone's kind of jumping on the bandwagon once again. I mean, once Hearthstone got the ball rolling with digital CCGs, we've seen every company, literally every company, jump on the digital CCG bandwagon, including Valve with the Dota 2 card game recently. And now we're seeing the same craze, I think, unfold for hero shooters. And what's crazy is I don't think there are any other hero shooters besides Overwatch and Paladins that are even remotely popular.
Yeah, Lawbreakers, as we talked about before, had a pretty tepid launch. Quake Champions, how's that doing? I'm gonna check the Steam charts right now. I don't think it's really knocking it out of the park either. Yeah, it's got. Oh, these numbers are not. Okay, it's doing okay. It's got 1,000 people online. It's, you know, for a launch, it's not that great. I don't know. Like, is Gigantic considered a hero shooter? I would say not. That's more like in the MOBA category for me. But Quake Champions, Lawbreakers, Paladins, Overwatch, those are what I would consider.
Yeah, and this current game, The Amazing Eternals.
The Amazing Eternals, exactly. So,
one of the reasons, though, that Quake Champions, maybe the numbers don't look great right now, it's going with the whole model where they're charging money for early access. So while Quake Champions will be free to play at launch, it does cost about $30 to play right now, which I know a lot of people are like just not going to play it right now to launch. I mean, people that are really into it will do it, but I'm not going to pay $30 to play Quake Champions. When it launches, however, I'll probably give it another try. I didn't really like it too much when it was, in the beta periods that I played when it was free to play, but maybe it'll be more fun when it's free. I'll try it again.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the aesthetic in Amazing Eternals. Personally, I like it better than Lawbreakers aesthetic. Derek, here's a good shot. I'm gonna pause that. If you guys can see the background here, the gimmick in this game is the story, I should say, is that you're a group of human, like players, you know, like us, like the players. we found an old board game. Okay, we found a bunch of called The Amazing Eternals, and when we open the board game, we get like sucked in and we play as the characters. So that's pretty cute.
It's very Jumanji-esque.
Yeah,
or something.
And that's why there's cards, because like they're part of the board game, right? And like in this picture, you can see like Doritos or whatever on the right. So it's got a cute gimmick, and the scenes and characters and maps are inspired by old pulp fiction from like the 70s, 60s. So you have a lot of Western stuff, the old sci-fi. Like this is my favorite character right here, guys. This is like an old, like real, like 60s sci-fi looking man with like the cliche space gun. Like I just pause it right here. That shoots the laser beams like one at a time. Drops the UFO there. So I do like the character designs and map themes.
I think the stuff like the character designs are interesting, but they can't really carry the game. I think it kind of gives you like it piques some interest, but ultimately the core game has to be fun for it to succeed.
Yeah,
it looks pretty. It looks great.
Yeah, I can't play it yet, but I do want to try this. Maybe you can try to get us some keys into this Founders.
I definitely will. Actually send an email. I sent them an email as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I do look forward to playing this one. Then I'll let you guys know if it's just like another random shooter or if it's got something going on.
I think this has more potential to succeed. I would bet on this over Quake Champions.
Yeah, me too.
But again, I haven't played it yet, right? But I'm looking at the data for Lawbreakers. I think I think it might be a little early to say if Lawbreakers is a flop or not, but the numbers are not looking good for Lawbreakers. The numbers have been trending down since launch. And Quake Champions, again, it's got the backing of Bethesda, and I said that properly this time. Go me. But that's, I don't know, 1,000 players, this really didn't knock it out of the park just yet. But again, it could get bigger when the free-to-play version launches. But I mean, one of our buddies on here, Wacko, has played this game when it was called Keystone, and he says it was really fun. So I'm taking his word on it. Plus, it looks interesting, and it looks a little bit different than other hero shooters. So I'm cheering for these guys. Plus, it's made by the guys that did Warframe, and Warframe I think has done the free-to-play model pretty well as well. They didn't offend people with quote-unquote pay-to-win elements in Warframe, so I think they'll do pretty well. But let's go back to this Founders Pack for a moment.
Okay.
$1,000. Holy crap! What am I getting? What am I getting for $1,000?
Let's run down the list. Let's see if this is worth it for you guys. We get 25 beta keys. You're on the design council. Okay.
What does that mean?
Players in the design council help vote on designs, features, and names in the game. So you get to vote. That's it.
That seems kind of cheap.
You get 4 traveler packs, whatever that means. You get a founder stamp. Get your alias immortalized in The Amazing Eternals. Custom Founders Badge upgrade. A custom badge based on your design. Oh, wow. So can you put like a giant dildo and then have it as a badge in the game? Oh, this is pretty cool. This is fun. A customized, permanent Easter egg in The Amazing Eternals, designed by you and seen by all. So you can put like your own little, I guess, reference to like another game or movie or something. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
You also get 25 beta keys. So let's run some math. Can we flip these beta keys for a profit? Each beta key is $20, right? According to the cheapest beta key costs $20, and you get 25 of them for the $1,000 pack. Let's say you sell for $10 each. You get $250 for your money back if you sell for $10 each. But that's not going to cover your expenses. Yeah. So I don't know. Can't really make a profit flipping those. But again, this is the first time I've seen a big mainstream company have $1,000 founders. Everything else has been like limited to 300 usually, or even 200. Revolution Online kind of had like a $200 founders pack, and you got the giant flying cat, and it was kind of weird. But even $200, we made fun of for being a bit expensive. This is definitely a bit pricey, but I can't blame them for doing this because at this point it's become so mainstream. I can't blame that.
You know what's funny? All right, this is actually a value. I don't know why you're complaining. Right under it says the value of this $1,000 founders pack is actually $3,000.
Oh man!
So you're getting a pretty sweet deal here, guys.
In fact, we'd be crazy not to buy it. Here, just take all my money. We'd be crazy not to buy it. All right, you don't want $3,000 for $1,000? It's free money, dude.
But you know what I do like about this website? Okay, here's the thing. 2 things. Okay, 1. Omar, I think it was you who mentioned some time ago that you like games with soul. Was that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've said that.
So far, to me, this game seems like it has soul because of the character designs and like the little...
I think so too.
Yeah. And 2, definitely. I really think the people behind it are competent developers. And so many early access, games coming out, indie stuff, just they don't show competence. And this game does. 1, whenever I mouse over any of these Founders Pack rewards, it tells me immediately what they do. Okay, so I don't have to guess like what the players council. I just cursor over it. Like it's such a small detail, right? But I don't have to click into it either. It just hovers over it. It just shows me at least they have people who know what they're doing.
That's actually a pretty good point because a lot of games don't do that. I'm actually gonna log in. I'm looking at the the Dauntless founders, and it tells you right next to it. So at least that one's kind of useful too. But a lot of games, I think, was it Revelation Line that didn't tell you? It just gave you like, oh, you get like 10 of these.
Yeah, and you don't know what they,
potions, and you know what to do.
Exactly. You could Google it, right, and you'd find out.
Yeah.
But it's just bad UI not to have it on the same page.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right,
and this game will be free to play at launch, right?
Yes, this will be free to play at launch.
But they're doing the whole early access / beta thing where they're charging money. That still grinds my gears because I hate when games do that. Quake Champions is doing it. Amazing Eternals is doing it. Hyper Universe is doing it. Everyone is trying to milk money now in the beta period. People are paying to beta test the game. That just grinds me. That just bothers me kind of in a way. Hopefully the beta period is not like crazy long. I'm okay with like founders packs that like give you 3-day head starts, 4-day head starts, because that's like it's pretty short and free players can jump in pretty quickly. But when you have this like really long beta period and it just I don't know, I don't like it.
Yeah. And quickly getting back to the weekly raid point. So again, like I said, I kind of compare the Gold Rush like mindset in hero shooters right now to the MOBAs a few years ago. But there are some differences, so I want to cover those. One, I think shooters in general are a lot easier to get into. So like let's say you're playing Dota, right? And you spent like 2,000 hours or League, and you spent 2,000 hours learning the game, and a new one comes out. You don't want to invest it's a huge switching cost, right? You have to relearn everything. But with a shooter, let's say you play Overwatch and like Amazing Eternals comes out or Quake Champions. I mean, you're not going to be amazing right away, but like you'll know exactly what to do. You shoot at their heads. Like it's a lot lower in terms of learning curve. And that might mean people can juggle, 1 or 2 or 3 of these games. Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing the way it is in like League or Dota.
That's fair. And we've seen that same rush again in Hearthstone clones as well.
Yeah.
But again, this is I think FPS games are probably the easiest video games to get into if I had to guess. It's like how do you like even Hearthstone and any of the new CCG, whether it's the Witcher one, whether it's the Elder Scrolls one, there's so many of these card games. You still have to learn the game. Literally, you can put me in front of any shooting game, literally any FPS game, and ready, you aim to their heads and you shoot. Like you got like 80% of the game down. You just learned the other 20% through like experience, the kind of nuances of that game, which is why I think we see so many FPS games and why I guess even on consoles and stuff like Call of Duty and all the other random shooting games are kind of like the base game.
Yep. So I think I'm a little more excited about the Amazing Eternals. So we will see how it does.
That's fair. All right, let's take this to a fun discussion. I want to vent a little bit because Hyper Universe also launched this last week. And Hyper Universe is a 2D side-scrolling MOBA. I guess, again, everyone's kind of jumping to the MOBA craze still. That craze is definitely not dead because League of Legends and Dota 2 make so much money. League of Legends makes over $1.8 billion a year. That MOBA makes over like $2-3 billion a year right now. So everyone's trying to make a MOBA. Anyway, this game launched into early access here in the West on August 23rd-ish or so. And I wrote a bit of a scathing rant on MMOs.com. It is definitely a rant. I didn't really, it wasn't super, like, trying to get very nuanced. I was really upset that they had this really bad, poorly designed tutorial. And I know you played it as well. So I'll briefly describe how the tutorial works in Hyper Universe, the early game experience. So when you play Hyper Universe, you launch the game, you're asked if you want to do a tutorial. You don't have to do the tutorial, but I actually recommend it. I think Nexon did a really good job with the game's tutorial. It explains the game really well. It's like it's less than 5 minutes long, and you know exactly how to play the game.
And it's voice acted.
It's voice acted. It's a high production value, good tutorial that teaches you the game. And after you finish the tutorial, you're allowed to queue up for PvP or versus AI game. So you have a choice. You want to do PvP or AI. Of course, being not a scrub, I queue up for PvP right away. I played the tutorial. I know how to play now. I can handle my own. I jump right to PvP. I queue for that shit. Boom. I find a game in 12 seconds. I'm in the game, and I'm playing against AI. Right away, what the hell just happened? Why is Hyper Universe letting me queue for PvP and then giving me an AI game? That's just confusing, first of all. Like, it's just weird that the game is letting me queue for PvP and then get AI. So after I asked them on their Discord channel, actually, I was speaking with their community manager over there. I forgot what his name was. And the way it works, it's in the patch notes as well. The way it works is if you're below level 5, you can queue for PvP, but you're most likely not going to get a PvP match. It's going to throw you into an AI match after like 10 seconds. If you can't find a perfectly balanced match for you, which it's not going to, I've never gotten a PvP match while queuing for PvP pre-level 6 rather. My brother hasn't either. He's been trying to do PvP as well. So you really get tossed in these AI matches, and it takes about 2 hours on average to get your account level to level 6. So you have to do about 2 hours worth of AI matches before you can start playing against actual opponents. And I found this to be unbelievably frustrating. The AI matches are not fun. Why is Nexon making me do 2 hours of not fun content when I want to play the fun content? Because I'm like, hey, the tutorial is pretty hype. I want to play some Hyper Universe. I played the Korean version, and I went through that bullshit already in the Korean version. I want to play the actual game, okay? Because the game I think is pretty fun, but I can't. So I am just unbelievably frustrated with Hyper Universe right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when this was first announced and we played on the Korean server, I was the most hyped about this, you know? And you know, I like MOBAs. I like the fact, I like 2D. You guys know that. 2D is, I think, you know, this 3D was a complete waste of time in the wrong direction for gaming. But so 4v4, 2D MOBA, and what's not to like? The problem is, not only is it bot matches, which by itself is excusable, especially in a shooter, right? Where the bots can be tailored to like. I'm saying in a shooter, the bots are okay because they can beat you once in a while, right? You can lose to bots in a shooter, right? Mm-hmm. But every match I played in Hyper Universe, the bots were 0 and 12, 0 and 10, 0 and 13, 0 and 9. Like these weren't even like close. Like you never had to like look what you're doing. You know, as long as the tower could kill you if you run into it. But the bots were basically like the mobs, like the random spawns, the minions. There was nothing. There was no intelligence in this AI. So what's the point if they're just gonna stand there and be like sandbags you punch? You're not gonna learn the game. It's gonna actually make it harder for you because if you play those 10 bot matches, you're going to have no idea how to deal with those heroes you're facing. Because the heroes you're facing against the bots, they don't use their abilities. They just stand there and die.
They dive towers. They dive your towers and just die for free.
So that's my thing. So. Like I don't mind the fact that they have bot matches so much as these aren't even bot matches. These are just like single player matches. It's like 4v0. Like there's no gameplay. There's no challenge. There's no contest, you know?
And not only that, not only are the bots really dumb, the game actually gives you like this 40% boost of damage and defense. So when you're playing against bots, you do 40% more damage to them, and they do less damage to you. So it's made intentionally easy as well, which I think does you a disservice as a player because it's not even preparing you for a live PvP environment. And according to Nexon, they actually explain their thought process in the patch notes that this feature was added because we had players entering regular matches when they weren't ready to. There are some unique aspects of Hyper Universe that players need to learn. It isn't a good experience when a new player comes in and gets annihilated by a group of more experienced players. And I don't think that argument holds any water. If you look at literally any other MOBA, I actually outlined the tutorial systems and mandatory matches in Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, Gigantic, and League of Legends. Dota 2 and HOTS, I think, do this the best. In HOTS, you can just skip tutorial, and there are 0 AI matches required. HOTS, the most casual, like made by Blizzard, which is pretty casual and appealing to everyone, right? They're not forcing you to do some nonsense tutorials. They're not forcing you to do some AI matches. It works. Dota 2, no AI matches. There is a tutorial, but you don't have to do it. Gigantic is a bit more of a middle ground. There is a tutorial, and you have to do 2 AI matches to bring out the queue up in normal matches, which takes about 30 minutes. It's not great, but look, if a tutorial is 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes, I can grit my teeth. I'm not going to be a whiny bitch over a 30-minute tutorial. You know what? Like, I can spare 30 minutes, okay? But 2 hours, 2 fucking hours of AI matches that are just not fun, that are brain dead, that it's almost insulting to me. Like, I feel like I can't, like, I'm against this in principle so much that I cannot do this. I mean, I physically could, but I don't want to. I did this bullshit in the Korean version, which I played and I enjoyed, because after the bullshit AI matches, the game is pretty fun, and I recommend trying it because it's a different style of a MOBA. It's side-scrolling, it's interesting, it's a bit different, and it is fun. But you have to get through 2 hours of bullshit to do that. And I would not recommend it to my friends because most of my friends that I play MOBAs with, they'd be like, I don't want to do 2 hours tutorial. I don't want to play 2 hours of bot matches. What the fuck? It's a non-starter. Who's going to recommend this game to their friends? Who's going to play this game when they have to go through 2 hours of bullshit to actually play a real match?
Yeah, and like I said, the main problem for me is the fact that these are not matches at all. These are just like stomps. Like these bots don't get kills. They don't do anything. And Omar, I have a question for you.
Yep.
If you click the video link I dropped in Discord, you can go to 37 seconds to be at the same page as the stream. I have a question. Would you drink the concoction this man is baking up?
Oh man, that looks interesting.
To skip the 2-hour bot matches. Would you drink this?
Yes, because that's like that's like literally 10 seconds of chugging some disgusting fish and like some meat, some like ground beef. Just mix it up and just hold your nose, grit your teeth, and just swallow that shit. All right. Hell yeah, I would. Get past this 2 hours of nonsense. Problem solved. Next time, let us do it.
And as to get to your point, you're very passionate about this. I played it last night with the intent of getting through the tutorial and the bot matches so we can play on Friday.
Yep.
After 2 matches, I just closed it. So
what's funny is actually, without even communicating with you, I closed after 2 matches as well.
oh,
I played through 2 matches. I got to level 2, and I was 70%. Exactly 70% to level 3. After playing about 45 minutes in my 2 bot game. And people are like, oh, the bot games last 10 minutes. No, they don't. Okay, yeah.
15ish to 15 to 18 maybe.
Yeah, if you get teammates that all just push one lane and just end the game real quick, you're right. Yeah, it goes pretty quick. But both my bot matches lasted over 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, what are you guys doing? Just push. Let's just end this game. I'm the only one going. My teammates are being complete bakas, so the game took even longer.
Well, you probably had a teammate like me. In my second match, when I realized it was just 4 players against bots, I just kind of AFK'd. Like I would like go in, I would just like go in, fight once, die, and then just go browse YouTube or whatever, and then check back in a few minutes so I don't get kicked or something. So you probably had teammates like me. So it was
It's frustrating, and I do think they will remove it. It's early access, so you got to cut them some slack, and I think they're gonna realize it's a bad decision. They actually introduced a leveling event to the game as well that doubles your experience in certain hours to get players, past that beginning. I think they even said that they recognized it wasn't a good idea after I bitched. Maybe they listened to my bitching. I don't know. I actually went on their Discord channel and I kind of vented directly at their community manager. I basically, to the community manager at Nexon, I put an @ on Discord. I'm like, does anyone at Nexon even play video games? Do you guys enjoy video games? Is the tutorial your favorite part? Like, WTF? And they're like, oh, don't do a personal install at us. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm gonna dip out. So then I left the Discord channel after that because I was clearly salty. I didn't want to insult them personally, but I did feel like it was a legitimate question. Like, if you enjoy playing video games, this seems like such an easy solution. I mean, not to shit on tutorials overall. I understand the need for requiring. I don't like mandatory tutorials, but I understand requiring it because some players will skip the tutorial and then be frustrated later down the road. But I think more players, like you and me, for example, would just quit a game when they're forced to do 2 hours of bullshit.
yeah. And
Or
it's funny what gets under your skin. This really ticked you off.
It ticked me off, and I agree. It's nitpicky, and I'm not trying to judge the whole game. I think again, I played the Korean version. I got past the level 6 bullshit requirement. I think it's different. I think it's fun, but I think they're really holding themselves back with this, and it really does grind my gears that they did this because it seems so obvious.
I think you're overestimating what work publishers do. Like for example, Nexon, right? Like you said, Nexon Korea also requires some kind of bot matching, right?
Up to level 6, yep.
Yeah, the people in Nexon America don't do shit. I don't know if you know this. They just take the game that was given to them by Nexon Korea and they push the button that says start the game, and that's where their work ends.
They localize it, and they actually what's especially frustrating is because they even said when they were localizing the game, when they announced the game for American release, they said they're getting rid of the level 6 requirement.
And then someone in Nexon Korea said, no, you're not allowed. Your job is to push the start button. That's it. That's your job.
No. As is, they've said if you can find a match within like 12 seconds, you will play against other opponents. But I've tried like 10 times, and I could never get a PvP match. So apparently, if the stars align and you hit the PvP button at level 1, it is possible to play against real opponents. Though I've tested it about 8 times on my own. I couldn't do it. I think my brother tested it. He couldn't do it as well. But it's right now feasible to match against players right away, but it just doesn't happen. Until you reach level 6, you're in the queue for AI, and you'll be probably playing against AI every single time. It's unbelievably frustrating for me, but I don't know. Is this a deal breaker for you guys in chat? Like, if a game makes you do a 2-hour tutorial or 2 hours with the AI matches, will you grit your teeth and get through it, or will you just say, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go play a different game"? Like, or is it just a me issue? Maybe.
We talked about this before, but I actually felt the exact same way in League of Legends. In League of Legends, when it first came out, right, there was no tutorial. You could just play, right? Then I went back, and I was lucky. Okay, one, I didn't remember my account, so I made a new one. And I was level 1. You can't play with people. You must play against bots. So then I had to recover my old one because I just didn't want to go through that. And my old account was, high enough to play with people. But if I had to, and I'm not a serious League player. I had a friend who wanted to play, so I would, whatever. If I didn't remember my old account information, I just wouldn't have played League, ever again, pretty much.
You don't want to do the bot match, and I completely understand.
Yeah.
For those that are unaware, League has a requirement that you have to get level 3 before you can play normal queues. And level 3 is about 2 to 3 bot matches.
2 to 3.
I agree.
And they're longer. They're longer than Hyper Universe matches.
I don't know.
I really think they are.
Bot match, it lasted like 15 minutes. Okay, but again, as anecdotal evidence, maybe I can do another test run later. But you only have to do 2 to 3 matches though, because you start level 1, you gotta get level 3, and you level up pretty quick early. But again, I agree, that's bad as well. But the benefit there is it doesn't last as long. It's not a 2-hour ordeal.
I think it's about 2 hours. Even three matches of League?
You're playing against AI though, so it's 5 players against AI, and everyone just runs down the middle and pushes.
No, but they don't, because that's what pros do. They got banned and making a new account for the 8th time.
I don't know.
But if you're playing with actual scrubs, they're just gonna wander around, right? They're not gonna push.
I'll make a new account. I'll test it out for science for next week.
Here's the thing: in Hyper Universe, you said your teammates weren't pushing down the same lane; they were doing their own thing. So you have to assume apples to apples and assume your League teammates do the same thing.
Even if by yourself, you can end it pretty quick. The AI just kind of feeds you as well. So no more than 20. I'll say 20 minutes for those League matches. I mean, a normal League match takes like 25 minutes probably on average. Like a normal game where people aren't just intentionally being dumb bots, you know?
Okay, well, fine. Oh yeah, we'll have to play. I think I should play it because you're like a pro League player.
Sure.
So like you know how to end the game fast and what to buy and everything. So if I play it, let's see how long it takes me to beat a bot match.
All right, it's a good test. But I think Dota 2 and HOTS do it the best. They both have tutorials, but they're skippable, and there's 0 AMS required. I mean, both those games, I think, nailed it. And the games have even the sensibility to ask you, like, how familiar are you with MOBAs, like Here's the Storm, like Dota 2? And you can pick. I mean, I've played these games extensively. I'm new. Maybe if the guy clicks I'm new, force him to do all that bullshit. But, like, if a player clicks, I know how to play these games, boom, let him skip. Problem solved. Boom, boom, done.
All right, well... We've been on this. You know what? We should have done the weekly raid for this topic. I know you.
I'm passionate. These guys really did, nag me. And I'm it's a rant. It's not like the game isn't going to die because of this, but it just personally frustrates me. And I do think they will fix it though, and they will address this concern.
I got an idea. So we start with the weekly raid, then we would transition every week to the weekly rant.
The weekly rant, I like that because I do get very passionate about some of these random things.
All right, so
I like it.
Well, we'll start a new column here, guys. I hope you look forward to that.
Weekly rant, something they can complain about. By the way, let's take this to closers because we got some pretty big news on closers, which is pretty interesting because this is a game just like Soul Worker. It's the Instance Dungeons Persistent Towns MMORPG. We had Soul Worker last week, and this week we had closers. It's officially launching in the West. Did you hear about this, Round?
I did earlier today. That's it.
Okay, I was gonna quiz you. Could you have guessed who's published?
I just saw the headline, but I do know. I think I did hear about this a while ago that Enmass was going to do this.
Yeah, so they're publishing now through Enmass is really expanding their portfolio of games. They did AVA, they got Critica now, and they get Closers next. For a long time, Enmass was basically just Terra. I mean, we all mainly know Enmass for Terra, but now they're trying to publish more and more games. And this is a bit of an oddball because this one launched I think in 2014 in Korea, but what's even weirder is earlier this year there was an English language private server called Code Closers, and it's been running for a long time now. So I feel like a lot of the hype for Closers is already gone. Like a lot of people that wanted to play Closers in English are already playing Code Closers, which has been out since February. Pretty crazy.
You know what's interesting? What games catch your attention and which don't? Like I remember Closers when I first heard about this. I was so hyped. Like I made like the preview page on MMOs.com. Yeah. Like I took all these screenshots. I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I want to play this. But then like 2 years later, I was like, like whatever. Like now I'm in the whatever phase.
Look at the anime intro though for the on that page. I think pretty high production value. This like little anime cutscene. You see some gameplay as well here later. But the first like half of this 50-second trailer is just like these pretty cool anime scenes.
Yeah, it's an interesting looking game. I followed it for a while. Let me find a video on our page for it.
But the thing about these games is whether it's Critica, whether it's Closers or Soul Worker, the games are so similar, which is why it's like very weird to see these games still launch. Like I mean, like they're not bad, and actually I would argue they're pretty fun. But like these are games I personally can't get invested into too long. I mean, I played Critica, I made 2 characters, got my job advancements, and I played for it. I'm like, all right, I had my fun, But like, I don't know, I just don't feel as invested in a game when they're like so close to each other. With Soul Worker, Critica. And there are like at least 50 games like this that have the Dragon Nest, Vindictus, that model, DFO model. Honestly, DFO has been running for such a long time. It's got so much content. It's the most popular MMORPG in the world, thanks to success in China. Like, why not just play DFO? Or, like the one game I would actually like to see, like Closers, happen in the West, that I would get excited for, if they did PSO2. I feel PSO2, it's the same model, right? You have the Persistent Towns, it's just dungeons. But I feel like at least that is like a bit more of an OG model. Like, they're one of the earlier people that did that model. And the game is unbelievably popular in Japan. I mean, it's one of Sega's most successful online games, period. I mean, it's successful for a reason. I mean, even the unofficial English server on the Japanese server has a good chunk of players on it, and there's a lot to it. So I would like to see that game rather than all these cookie cutter, whether it's Critica or Closers or Soul Worker. Like, I mean, Soul Worker is the prettiest of the 3. I think it looks visually nice, but I don't think any of them really have any
I like closers the most out of the ones you mentioned because it has the side view that like DFO has, right? Where Soul Worker, Kirita, whatever it's called, Critica, is like 3D, like
Kirita.
Completely 3D, right? Like, you walk around everywhere. In DFO and closers, it is 3D. Like you can go a little bit like this, but it's mostly left to right, right? I just like that aesthetic and style more. I don't think I have no real proof of why it's better. It's just a preference.
You should play. I mean, we have Korean. We have Nexon Korea accounts, and the game has been playable in Nexon Korea since 2014. So I think late 2014. So a lot of people that wanted to play it kind of already played the Korean version, and then they waited years, and then what's funny is it was only after the English private server Closers Online was announced. It was called Code Closer. When that was announced, within 2 days that was being announced, Natick Games basically emailed us saying, "Oh, don't worry, we're launching the official English version soon." Like, I think the launch of the English private server got Natick, the Korean developer, to be like, "Holy shit, we got to license this game quick," before like the entire player base starts playing the private server, and then they launch. Now it's finally happening. But it just, again, why license Closers instead of PSO2? And I think a lot of people are saying it blows my mind that we don't have an English port of PSO2 yet. We've had it's coming soon, coming eventually on the official Sega blog, and I think the official PSO2 website is still up in English, but the game is not out yet. But it's still getting updated in Japan.
I don't think Sega would license it. They'd do it themselves if they were going to do it.
But the point is, they're not doing it, right? So why not license it? Like, you're Sega. You don't want to do it for whatever reason. Like, you're feeling lazy that you don't want to do it. You don't want to think about it. License it in Mesh. License the Game Forge. Any of these companies will just area. I mean, I get they're not the best publishers, but like, it's better than nothing.
I don't think Sega trusts these like small publishers, to be honest. I don't think they want to associate their brand with area or whatever.
But I think most players would tell you that they would rather just have the game than just not have it, and this nonsense they have now. I agree. I don't think they'd do as a good job running it as Sega if they ran it themselves.
I don't know. All I'm saying is, if I was in charge of Sega, I'd rather not make a little bit of money than give my name, like the Sega name, next to a company that I'm not familiar with. Like, that's not a big, respected company.
I mean, give it to Nexon then. Nexon's a big company. Nexon's bigger than Sega.
Yeah. Okay. Nexon. Maybe I'd do that.
I mean, Nexon has closers in Korea as well. They can maybe do PSO2. I think PSO2 is a better game than Soul Worker, Critica, and basically almost every other one of these style games I've personally played. I didn't get too far in DFO. I know I have friends that play and they swear by it. If the game is actually the most popular MMORPG in the world for a reason, DFO makes more money than World of Warcraft. The game is huge thanks to China. But on the instance dungeon persistent town area of the recent Western games, I think PSO2 would do phenomenal. And I think it's still nuts that it hasn't happened yet.
I gotta say, guys, I've been watching these trailers while Omer's talking here, and I love the art in Closers. I don't know why. It's pretty good.
Fun trivia for you guys. Did you know that Sega? Fun fact for you guys. Do you know Sega, the guys that make PSO2? They also make pachinko machines and gambling machines. Did you know that they actually own a division where they own resorts? They own like hotels, and they actually own like a 5-star mega casino resort in South Korea. Sega, the video game company, has freaking hotels. That's so weird.
Yeah, a lot of the Japanese game companies, they do a lot of things on the side. Like, and by side, I mean it's probably bigger than their main thing. Like Konami has like gyms and stuff. It's really weird.
Actually, Sega. I was looking at Sega because I did a few videos for my Financial Look series. I looked at Nintendo, Square Enix, a few other gaming companies, and I'm invested in Square Enix and Nintendo, and I'm like, Sega's an interesting company. I've been playing their games for a long time. Let me take a look at them. And they're pretty interesting. They make a lot of money. They're very profitable. They're very conservative, like most Japanese companies, but they make more profit from pachinko machines, which are gambling. They make slot machines. They make more money from slot machines than they do making video games. So Sega, it may not be fair to call Sega a gaming company. Sega is, as a whole, is a pachinko maker, a slot machine manufacturer. That's where the majority of a bigger chunk of their income, their profit comes from. It's pretty crazy.
Maybe that's why they're so good. The Japanese companies are so good at making mobile gacha games because they have pachinko experience. Think about it.
True. That's true. It makes sense. I mean, they've been. I think Japan, after China, is the #2 market in the world for mobile. Because how much money they spend. I think you gave me a crazy statistic. The average Pokemon Go users spent like 20 something dollars in Japan, like counting all the people that spent no money too.
There's another fun fact about Japan, guys. The pachinko gambling revenue is more in Japan. Is more than all like American like Las Vegas Strip and all that stuff combined, like blackjack.
And Macau, I think combined. It's crazy. The Japanese are huge gamblers.
They love those little balls.
All right, here's a game I'm curious if you're excited for. Dual Universe.
Okay, this one gotta walk me through this one, Omer.
All right, this is actually, look, when I first saw like the video, the Kickstarter video for this game, I was kind of like, I wrote it off instantly. What the fuck are they doing? They're trying to do this like ambitious nonsense game. Like it's never gonna happen, right? But they raised a total of $7.4 million in funding now. Only $800,000 from Kickstarter, and the rest of that money came from private investors. So they have money, right? And they were able to pitch it to investors and get real money. And this is, it's a sandbox, persistent world MMORPG. And it's sandbox in its truest sense, probably, because if you look at that video on that link and go to like 45 seconds and 50 seconds, you can see what I mean by sandbox. People are actually creating content within the game. It's like probably a mix of Minecraft meets Roblox meets Second Life, where you can actually literally code content into the game through Lua. There's an interface in game where you can just program stuff into it. So like things will function based on how you program it, and it all exists within this actual MMO world, which is something we haven't seen until Second Life. And Second Life is a very oddball game. It's unbelievably unintuitive, very difficult to get into. So these guys try to make that, I think, the whole system a bit more streamlined. And if you can do that within an MMO and not be as bullshit cluttered as Second Life, I think it'd be pretty cool. Because look at Gary's mod, like all the shit people create for Gary's mod. Look at Roblox. I mean, if you can allow your player base to create content, and it's not bullshit complicated the way it is in Second Life. Second Life is, I challenge you to play Second Life and try to figure out what the hell's going on.
Oh, I tried. I couldn't.
It's completely unintuitive and confusing and hard to use. But like this, if you can do that in the same way Roblox did, it can be huge. And I think this is what they're trying to do. And just this, when I watch this video, I'm like, whatever. This guy's programming a door, right? What does that mean? Like, what is the limit to what they can actually do in Dual Universe? And if you watch it at if you skip ahead to like
the breakout game, right?
Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah. I just started it.
So you can actually program that into like one of the consoles in the game through the Lua scripting. So that tells me that it's not like bullshit where you can confine your program to very specific things. You can actually program your own games within the game. And that's just interesting not because of the bullshit bricking game, but because of how much more you can do in the game. If they allow that with their custom scripting, they're going to allow so much. And that just sounds amazing. Again, on paper. I haven't played it yet, obviously, just based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely an ambitious project. It's like you said, a lot like Second Life. It's kind of sandbox, like legit sandbox. Like, I guess you could say it's Minecraft for like adult nerds, like sci-fi nerds. But the problem is, it's a very interesting slope to climb. Because I remember the Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 1 custom game engine, right, was complicated, but at the same time simple enough that the average person, if they poured their time into it, could figure it out and make something, right? But then with StarCraft 2 and stuff, they made it too complicated. They made it too powerful, and then people couldn't figure. Not as many people could figure out how to work it. So I think Lua is a pretty well-known system, but how it integrates and how easy it is to create in this world, I don't know yet. And it looks complicated to me, but maybe it's just because of sci-fi. I don't know. Like, and spaceships always look more complicated than like blocks, like Roblox. I don't know. So it's a delicate balance between accessibility and actual like customization, and I don't know where they are with that.
Actually, I think both Gary's mod and Roblox both use Lua as well. So whatever reason, Lua seems to be the coding language for these kinds of games. And another gameplay video from E3 2016. And look, I was not hype about this until I saw this recent video. I mean, even this E3 video looks pretty good, because I wrote this off because it seemed like it was never going to happen. It was like this. They raised $800K, but it's going to cost millions. But they raised a total of like over $7 million now. So it's starting to look feasible. And I've been saying this for a while. I genuinely believe the next big like jump in MMORPGs, like the next big thing, where World of Warcraft big. I'm talking like fucking, it's going to actually move the genre forward. We're not seeing the same WoW clones and bullshit over and over again. Is a game that can utilize player-created content. And we've seen, I think, Neverwinter try it. And in some aspects, I thought that was really cool. The player-made dungeons and stories that people told through the game's Foundry system was awesome. But it didn't take it to what like Roblox can do. Like if you look at Roblox, I mean, you can't undersell how successful Roblox is. I think last month Roblox made more money than Overwatch, and it's right now the 10th highest grossing PC game according to Super Data Research. And Roblox is entirely user-made content, and it's not like this persistent world. Instead, it's basically like the StarCraft or Warcraft map makers. People make their own interesting mini games within the Roblox world, and you just join it through a lobby-based system. But now, a game like Dual Universe is taking that Roblox model and making it in a persistent universe where people can kind of program their own content within the world. And if it works for Roblox, which is it's a kids game. Roblox is aimed at kids, and kids are making content. Maybe not the kids. I don't know who's making the content. People are making content for Roblox. Why can't we see this take off in a traditional MMO sense? And I think the first game to do it right is going to be bigger than WoW. It's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and basically Roblox for adults. And did you know a lot of people who make those Roblox games, they make six-figure salaries from their royalties from the from Roblox. That's pretty cool.
You can sell some of the stuff you made, like premium stuff. Actually, I played Roblox with some of the guys on MMOs.com Discord, and in order to play, we were playing Counter-Strike Go in Roblox. It had the music from Counter-Strike Go. It had the actual weapon noises and the actual weapon models in Roblox, and it worked really well. It was a really popular mod, right? A lot of people were playing it. But in order to make our own custom server, we had to pay. And one of the guys, Junkyard Santa, he had a lot of money on Roblox already, deposited from when he played it back in the day. So he just bought the premium so you can. The creator of that Counter-Strike mod made money off it because he spent $1 or so getting that premium, and we played in-house, and it was a lot of fun. And Roblox proves that player-made content is huge. Do you think this can pass like WoW? If not, what do you think is the next big evolution in MMORPG? Because we have been stuck. We talked a lot about MMORPGs kind of being uninspiring and being kind of clones of each other. We talked about kind of like mobile MMORPGs kind of being this pay-to-win, auto-playing nonsense. What is the next big thing that's going to be MMORPG? I'm not talking, MOBA. And what's going to propel the genre forward? What is the next giant leap, the next biggest game?
Okay, I'll get to that. I'll think about that while I talk about something real quick. There's a caveat here about Dual Universe. A few people in chat compared it to Star Citizen, and I don't think that's fair. They're completely different in their scope. I know it looks like there's a lot going on here, like with the spaceships flying around, but this is basically one of those games where the developers themselves have to do very little work. They basically create a very base template with no story, no content really, and then they leave it to the players to create the content and context and story. So this isn't like one of those. I don't think if they actually want to release this, I think they can release it quickly. Like it's not going to be like a huge money sink because they don't really have to do much. They have to create the template and that's it, and then let you do what you want. So it's not quite like Star Citizen, but that's a double-edged sword. The content, you're relying on the players to create the hook that keeps people there. So that can backfire if nobody plays the game, right? If nobody plays this, then there's no content, there's nothing to do. So it's a little different than Star Citizen in that regard. Sure. As for whether I think it's gonna be, if it gets it right, will be bigger than WoW or something. No, I actually think games like this are niche.
But if you look at the games like Minecraft too, like this whole emphasis on sandbox and player create, I think there is a need. There's a big demand for creativity. Even games like Rust, Ark, right? There is a sense of like you making your own thing within it. And I don't think WoW really no MMORPG really does that right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the opportunity lies. Well,
it's something very important to keep in mind. The word sandbox. Okay, who plays in sandboxes typically?
Kids,
exactly. So I think here's the thing: when we were younger, when everyone was younger, when kids, when they see a sandbox, they see potential, right? Like Minecraft, they want to build, they want to do something, right? I think adults, they have to go to work, they got to deal with the bills, they gotta watch TV, they gotta keep up with Game of Thrones, they don't have time or interest.
They gotta see Daenerys' titties,
Yeah. So I think the total sandbox stuff is gonna remain the domain of kids with a sizable minority of adult players. There's plenty of people who play Minecraft that are older than kids. But when it comes to something like this, it's gonna mirror more like Second Life in terms of popularity. Which Second Life did have a big swing. It was pretty big for a while. Second Life, right?
Second Life is unplayable. It's genuinely unplayable.
Even when it came out, and that was like normal. The UI, yeah. I get it. Everything got better since Second Life came out. Like, if you give someone EverQuest today, they're not going to be able to figure out that interface.
And I think you're understating how many adults play Minecraft. I think Minecraft appeals to people our age even. I mean, there are more kids playing it for sure, but I think there's millions of adults probably play Minecraft and Roblox too. I never played Roblox until recently. I'm like, it looks like a kids game, right? I never gave the game a fair shake, and I'm ashamed to say, like, I kind of wrote it off without really playing it. But having played it, because one of our buddies on MMOs Discord, Ricey's, shout out to him, he suggested we play Roblox. I'm like, why not? You know, we got like 6 people on Discord just in the voice chat hanging out. You know, let's play something. You know, we just finished our War Mode game. It was another bullshit game I suggested, and we played Roblox. We played this paintball game. We played this CS:GO knockout game, you know, within Roblox, and we played a Battlefield game within Roblox. And I was blown away. Like, holy shit, this is like people making custom maps for Warcraft 3 all over again, except like it's simple interface and it works. Like, I had a ton of fun, and I can see myself playing Roblox again and playing some random ass games because the opportunity is endless where people are actually making the content. And if you put that in an MMORPG, oh my god, forget about it. It's going to be amazing.
But it's you have to limit it a little because somebody can't make a kill everything button, and you know you can't allow everything. Imagine a single shard server where you know someone can craft a Lua code that destroys the universe. So you couldn't allow that, right?
No, of course.
It's going to be restricted more than Roblox or you know something like that.
And obviously, that's a design problem there as well. Like, how do you limit what people can do? And there's got to be some kind of structure and some goals in the game too, because otherwise, like, Roblox succeeds and Minecraft succeeds because it kind of exists within their own like self-contained servers, their own self-contained worlds, like each individual map.
Right.
Where Dual Universe is trying to be this, you know, persistent world, constant thing.
I don't know. Like even Second Life has like different areas that people like zone into, right? And then like that area is controlled by one person, and he can basically kick people out. He can, you know, ban people. He can. So it is, even Second Life is servered or in some way, yeah. So if this Dual Universe is trying to do it without that, the only way I can see is everyone gets their own planet, and then they can kick people out of their planet. I don't know. I really don't know what their plan is. I have to read more about this.
Again, I don't claim that Dual Universe is going to be that savior, right? I think that model where people, you know, or the game is more reliant on player-made content, and we've seen it succeed in Roblox. Like, and again, you cannot underplay that. The game made more money than Overwatch last month. It's one of the highest-grossing PC games in the world. And Minecraft is giant, and it relies entirely on player-made content. This sandbox element where players add the content is going to be, if you can integrate that well into MMORPG, I think that's going to be what's going to push the genre forward. I'm curious. Do you have what you think is going to move the genre? Like, what is the next WoW? What is the next style of game that'll be like WoW? Ooh. I know I'm putting you on the spot because we don't plan these out, by the way. These discussions kind of just happen.
Okay. If I must answer.
You must answer.
Okay. 1, it has to be a single server. So that has to. So I think with Spatial OS, that's more and more possible. 2, you can shape the world, something like Rust or something. You can build structures in real, and then they're there permanently, whether you're logged in or not. So that's gonna be it. Something like whoever does something like that.
Just a persistent world, Rust, or like a Worlds of Drift style game.
Worlds of Drift style game, but
one server,
and your character grows. Like it has some kind of stat system, some kind of skill system. Like it's not just die and start over.
Yeah, I think that genre has a lot more potential too, whether it's Rust or Worlds of Drift. I mean, one mega server with thousands of players in a world you can kind of, influence would be freaking amazing. I mean, Rust, I think, would be one of the best games ever. I think if there's one mega server, and it was kind of paced better through, like, you don't instantly get rockets. There's potential in that sandbox element, and you just got to combine it with MMORPGs, and I think you have a winning combo.
But I mean, overall, though, I'm not really optimistic on that happening anytime soon. I think MMORPGs are being held back, not by the computer technology, but by a lot of internet technology, like people on Wi-Fi, people on shitty internet. The progress of graphics, and stuff like that, has been outpacing the progress in connections for the average person, like internet connections. And until that's solved, which I don't know how that's solved, we're not going to have servers with 10,000 people on a server because people with shitty internet or Wi-Fi that are unstable can't handle that.
That can't be true, though. We've had PlanetSide 1 field like 1,000 units on the screen.
Yes,
PlanetSide 2.
But the people playing PlanetSide 1 were all hardcore PC dedicated gamers. They weren't. Yeah. So today, though, the average kid, right? He's playing on his like shitty laptop that his dad gave him after he got a new one, right? And the router's in the basement, with Wi-Fi, and he just has garbage internet, garbage computer, and he's got to play what he's got to play, and he can't play this game I'm describing, or you're describing.
Forget, even the average console is getting so much better. Like the new Xbox One, what's it called?
One X.
Xbox One X. Like you can have that on a console too.
No, maybe the hardware isn't the problem. Like I said, it's the Wi-Fi and the internet aspect.
I don't know. I think the average internet speed in the U.S. has improved drastically over like the last 5-10 years. It used to be like 3 megabits. Now it's like up to like 15. We're much closer to the world average than we were like back in the day. It was much worse when like 10 years ago.
But again, that pace of progress is not the same speed as the pace of progress in GPUs, for example. So yeah, I understand internet's getting better, but it's getting better slower than the graphics and shit are. And it's another good example. File sizes. We were in Discord a few days ago, or yesterday. People were complaining about the file size of the new Final Fantasy 15. They were complaining about the file size of various... Yeah. Oh, this game's 100 gigabytes, 200 gigabytes. The problem is not that these games are that big. They're not that big. 200 gigabytes is not that big compared to, if you chart a graph of game sizes, they're going up steadily for 20 years. The problem is hard drives stopped getting progressively bigger. They're getting bigger linearly, not exponentially. That's the problem. Like I remember a 1 TB drive was very common like 10 years ago, right? And now we're up to
about 10 years ago. Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
But my point is,
I don't remember though. I don't remember.
My point is now they're up to like 4, right, or 5. Like that's like big. That's a very linear progression. Whereas GPUs are getting better, or much faster than that.
All right. Fair, I guess. I still whoever does it's not Hyper Universe. Somebody's got to combine this sandbox player crafted content of like whether we want to go simple Minecraft or Roblox. That's the game. That's going to change the genre, boys.
I got to bitch about something real quick.
Bitch about it. Go have at it.
Rant. Okay, so Omer and I live in Las Vegas. Our ISP is Cox, C-O-X. We pay $100 a month. We get about 350 MBS. Right? Yeah. Okay. That's fine. For 7 years we used it. We were happy. It was great. Just this year, like 2 months ago, they said we're going to start capping your internet. We can get, what was it, 1,000 gigs?
Yeah, TB, I think.
Yeah, 1 TB a month is our cap now. After which we have to pay $50 if we pass that for 10 GB more, and then every increment. That's a big problem for me, I think. So I think that the fact that these caps are getting more popular across America is gonna really stifle like innovation and the ability of games to get bigger. I mean, I don't know why we don't have 1 TB games by now. Like that's it's not a big. I don't think it's a big number, 1 TB for a game.
It's 1 TB is still like I think we've only come close to getting it like hitting that cap once.
We passed it many times. Before the cap was enforced, we went over multiple times.
We just gotta be a little more careful with that pirating.
They sent me a postage saying, and it was bar graph showing like the months you went over, and then just as a warning, so you make sure you don't go over again.
That sucks, but that doesn't seem like a big issue. Come on, most games aren't that big anyway.
This is something Omer and I are on the very opposite ends of. He doesn't see a big issue with these data caps. I think data caps are like the worst thing that's going to happen to PC gaming, to the gaming in general, the internet culture in general.
It already is an awful thing in most countries. I know people in Australia and New Zealand. I know people online that live there. It's awful over there. Your internet speeds are garbage. It's so expensive, and you have unbelievably low data caps. In the U.S., where we are, again, look, 1 TB data cap is, look, I agree. I don't like it, but like it's pretty reasonable. I feel like I can hit that 1 TB. No, I'm not gonna hit that 1 TB if I'm a little careful about it.
But here's the thing. So in this, by the way, if you're forgetting one big thing, we're paying for their top package. We cannot give them more money. Like this is the best they offer. Okay. Yeah. So the average person who for us this is like our job. This is our main hobby. Gaming. So this is important for us. For the average household, right? It's not important. They're gonna go with the value package, and then the kid's gonna be stuck on a Wi-Fi. The internet already sucks, right? Coming into his house, then he's on a shitty router that the company gave them. So and he's upstairs, so that Wi-Fi sucks. Now it gets to his and his laptop sucks. So this guy is, why he's playing Roblox? Because he can't play, whatever else he's trying to play. He can't play
Roblox is a good game.
He can't play
that. All right?
No, he can't play a 200 gig game. He just can't do it. That's why he's playing Roblox.
Look, that could be an issue if the net neutrality thing, doesn't pan out and it gets hella throttled and shit. But look, I don't see an issue today. It could be an issue later. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
I mean, I don't know why
it already is an issue overseas though. I'll admit that. Canada is bad too. I hear. Australia, New Zealand, awful. In the U.S., it's not awful yet.
It's like this. Look, how many times can you take a shit a day? Like 5, or whatever, 2, 3, whatever. Imagine there's a private sewer company who runs a sewer saying, okay, you can only shit 5 times a month, or 10. Why are you limiting my shits? Like, the ISP, right, is a utility, and the pipes are are like the sewers. Don't limit how many. If I'm paying you, okay, and I'm paying you the most you allow me to pay you. By the way, that's important too. If I'm paying you as much as you allow me to pay you, why are you limiting how many shits I can take?
I agree. It's shit. I don't agree with that either. I mean, it just right now, the caps in the U.S. aren't as bad as the caps. Yeah, it's shitty, but the caps here aren't as bad.
I think 1 TB is bad. I can blow through 1 TB in a week.
You want you done a lot of jabs, all right? So you gotta make room. Stop shitting. You're overloading the pipes. There you go. Take a break on the shitting, all right?
All right.
Let's pivot here. Let's pivot here to let's talk about Star Citizen, all right? Let's talk about Star Citizen because they showed off something at Gamescom, which I thought was actually kind of cool. Take a look at this.
All right, Star Citizen to feature in-game Facewear. All right, whoa. This guy in his trailer looks a lot like, or the thumbnail looked a lot like
Sir Davos.
Sir Davos. Is it him?
It is him. That's why.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So skip ahead to like 50 seconds, okay? And they're showing off some like in-game content that kind of mimics. Yeah, it uses like face capture technology from your webcam to kind of like when you move your mouth or you move your facial features, your character in game also moves that as well. I thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of neat. Look, we take a lot of time shitting on Star Citizen, and while everything I said about Star Citizen before, I kind of I'm sticking with. This is pretty cool, but I don't think they need to focus on like all these ancillary features, these side features. They should just get the game and finish it. All right, put out what they've already promised. Stop giving more shit. But as like a side thing, I think it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, and you know what it reminds me of? This actually mirrors the conversation we had last week about the pizza delivery. Because you mentioned pizza delivery for, I believe it was Final Fantasy 14, right? And
yes. No, yeah, for the promotion in New Zealand.
Yeah, and that mirrored an old EverQuest 2 promotion where you can type /pizza to order pizza. And this facial recognition feature, I don't know if you remember, was actually, I think, also in EverQuest 2. I think they had...
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so they tried something similar to this back in EverQuest 2, which just goes to show you guys, the MMORPG genre, I think in the 90s or early 2000s, was at least like 20 years ahead of the general gaming industry. And it's kind of sad to see how far it's fallen, but different point. As for this facial feature thing on Star Citizen, it's cool. And I think today, everyone has webcams. So not everyone, but most people today, most PC gamers that go on Twitch and stuff like us have webcams. Whereas back in EverQuest 2 days, I think webcam was still pretty rare. So this can actually get some use today.
And yeah, I think you make a good point. And more RPGs in like early 2000s were hella ahead of their time. Because when EverQuest 2 did this, I thought it was fucking amazing. I was really blown away when I saw it in EverQuest 2 because it worked really. I remember calling you over and like, Aaron, look how cool this is, right? And I showed it to you. Like it wasn't something a lot of people used, but I think stuff like this, right? Today, especially when the technology is a little further ahead and everyone's actually got webcams thanks to Twitch. I think Twitch really kind of pushed everyone to have webcams. Because as a gamer, like it seems like I never needed a webcam. Like, why would I have a webcam? Like, am I going to like cybersex somebody? Maybe anybody. Yeah, there you go. That's a good reason too. But like beyond that, like there was no need for a webcam. Like with Twitch, it becomes a thing. Even like smaller streamers do, stream as well for fun with their friends. So it's good to have a webcam today, and more people have it, which makes it really cool.
Yeah. So
I think if this feature, right, because within Star Citizen, I don't think it really does anything because the game is not out yet, and I'd rather just see the goddamn game finished with the persistent universe. I want to see all that done, right? But like if this existed within maybe like FF14, maybe like other like in World of Warcraft, if you have like then it could be really cool because like it's already if it get implemented in a game that's already out, it's already pretty big. I think it would add a lot of it would add a lot to the game. It would make it more immersive. And actually, this technology, they're also trying to do something called diogenic IP, which allows for realistic distortion of a player's voice according to their in-game surrounding, such as distance and nearby obstacles. So if you're like in a mountainous region, your audio will sound different.
That'd be really cool.
Man, this is all really cool technology. I don't have to see this shit in Star Citizen is the thing. Like I want to see this in games that are already out yet. Like implement this in an existing game. For Star Citizen, it's kind of cool that they're the ones kind of showing it off, but I want to see it in a game that's already playable and it's already out. Star Citizen, stop focusing on all this other nonsense and just get the game out already.
I disagree on that part. I think retrofitting a feature like this to a game that's existing is almost not going to happen because
why?
A couple of reasons. One, the people who are left staffing a legacy product are not the trailblazers. I don't think they have the skill set to do it unless they bring outside people, at which point they're more likely to focus that outside people on a new product. So one, you have like the maintenance people, the maintenance crew on the job.
It's not maintenance. Come on.
What? I think so.
Say that over 70% of the cost of a game is spent after the game launches if it's an MMO. That's what the Nexon CEO said in his presentation.
Yeah, but they're using the template built. Like, like for example, the excuse a lot of MMORPGs give not to do classic servers is we lost the code, right? Like, I think that just means we don't know. Okay, it is bullshit to some extent, but don't forget the private server people are the most passionate and skilled, right? They have the passion and time and skill, coding skill. The people who say we lost the code, what they're really saying is we lost instructions, and now when looking at the code, we can't figure it out because we're not as good as the people who initially made this, right? So we can't figure this out. We can add new stuff, like we can drag and drop new orcs to the new scene, you know, but we don't know how to retroactively work with this code.
I think it seems like not like a crazy redoing of. I'm not saying they should just like make Final Fantasy 14 an action MMORPG because that's like unheard of here, like revamping the whole game, and then you can't do that. Or World of Warcraft, just turn World of Warcraft into a Blade and Soul style action. That's impossible. But when like you already have some built-in voice features, and like wow, why this seems like something that can be done.
Maybe I don't know the details, but I do know that it's always harder to add something on rather than do it from the beginning. Like even when you're building a house or something, like it's easier to install a certain kind of window when there's no windows, there's no there's nothing in the way. It's easier to do all this stuff before the product is finished.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, and I do. Those little things do make MMORPGs more immersive. Whether it's the voice thing, imagine like if Rust had that too. It'd be awesome. Like they could just add this to Rust and be amazing.
You know what I think? Would be cool too. Besides the voice thing, if you could slightly alter your voice, so it doesn't sound like you, but it still says the words you're saying. I think a lot of people would open up then to voice communication. There's still a lot of people I think that are, especially women, who don't want to use voice chat because they're gonna get trolled or harassed, or they sound, maybe they're kids and they don't want to sound like like squeaky people and then get yelled at, right? So imagine you could talk into your mic and then in Star Citizen or some other game, everyone hears like a Marine's voice, like hey guys, let's go. Like I think a lot of people that would open up the voice chat to a lot more people.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. A lot of girls though, they don't want to use voice chat.
Yeah, I don't blame them because they're gonna get trolled like retards.
Definitely
by retards.
But then guys get trolled all the time too. You look at PUBG, like people just troll everyone. There's no like, I don't know if you get exceptionally trolled if you're a girl. Like if you go to a lobby in PUBG like before a game begins, that is like, look, the lobby in PUBG is like unfiltered, pure internet. It's a mishmash of like nonsense racism, people just screaming "fuck you," and like it just the memes, the stupid shit that happens in PUBG before the game. That first like 2 minutes while you're on the plane or when you're in the lobby, it's just so pure. It's a pure bullshit of the internet, and I love it. All right, I don't know. I don't know how related that is, but
that works.
It's amazing.
That works in that kind of game, like a lobby game, but it won't work in an MMORPG because if you have a toxic atmosphere all the time, every time you log in, you're just gonna leave. You're not gonna stay there.
Yeah, that PUBG lobby though, there's a philosophical discussion to be had about the PUBG lobby being so pure, and like.
Also, remember, everyone's objective is to kill everyone else on that plane, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of encourages the trash talking, the shit talking, the trolling. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, at least MMORPGs, the good thing about them, I feel, is you get the full gamut of human interaction, right? There are people who are just trolls and assholes. There are people trying to help you. There are people who you don't know is somewhere in the middle, right? Are they trying to help you? Trying to screw you over? You really don't know, right? So I think that's the beauty of MMORPGs.
Yeah. All right. I linked you a video for Gamescom.
Okay.
Crowfall. This is the video you showed me. You talk a little about this. I know you were offended by this video.
Okay, guys. Let's see where you stand. When I saw this video, before I read the YouTube comments, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cringy. Like this is some poor production value." And I read the comments, and people tended to agree with me. So I'm gonna play this for you with the audio. It's not too long, and I want you guys to let me know what you think. My opinion, it's amateur hour, but let's find out.
Death is not the end. My first life was simple. I went from daughter to wife to widow to soldier. My family, my kingdom, all in ruins. Chosen by the gods, I have lived countless lives. I have been a hero, loved by the masses. A villain, skulking in the darkness. A queen, uniting my people to drive back the hunger. A warlord, toppling walls to slaughter the innocent. They worship us as immortals. They call us champions, legends, heroes. We are not heroes. We are scavengers.
We are crows.
Are crows.
Okay, so first of all, I think it looks fine. It looks good, right? It's the voiceover that really made me cringe.
My favorite comment on Reddit was, "Did they get Sally from accounting to do the voiceover?" And somebody replied, "I'm pretty sure she made the entire trailer."
Isn't it weird? Like we are crows, yeah.
It was very cringy, and it did definitely feel amateur.
Yeah.
Some of the like the visual content was okay, but the way it was presented with the audio kind of made it shitty.
I agree.
I mean, it's cringe. Go.
Oh yeah, and there's a good number of dislikes on the video. More actually, there are less dislikes than I thought, which is nice. Crowfall...
Gamescom was this last week, so we got a lot of talk about some of these new games.
Yep, a lot of coming out of Gamescom. Crowfall is a project I've been following, less so in the last 6 months because I kind of got burned out, but I was pretty hyped for this one as well.
You get burned out. The game's not even out yet, dude.
That's the thing. That's my problem with these permanent development games. But this one, we talked about it a few weeks ago, and we highlighted some of the expensive packages in the store, and I'll bring that up again. I know how much you like. Let's compare this to the $1,000 bundles in the Amazing Eternals, okay?
Let's take a look.
All right, here we go. We got the 2017 Ruby bundle. It's only $1,000.
Only? What a deal.
And let's see what we got. Guild Stronghold. All right, $7,000. You can buy an Imperial Palace for $7,000.
It's only $7,000, guys. What a deal. Okay, so this is actually pretty funny because I know when we last talked about the Imperial Palace in Crowfall, you were making a good point about how like a lot of people here in the West are kind of like pissed off that Asian games are being cash grabs, right? And just stuff like that. And you kind of said people got what they deserve because all these Western crowdfunded games now, they were trying to like be an alternative to all the Asian cash grabs, ended up kind of trying to be cash grabs themselves with $7,000 Imperial Palace and whatnot. I mean, you triggered a bunch of people on RMRPG on that discussion. It's pretty funny.
Did I?
One guy, yeah, I mean, I was going back and forth with some guy, and he's like, "Oh, the $7,000 is perfectly fine. It's not a cash grab. It's meant for guilds." I'm like, what? Then can't you just argue that all the pay-to-win stuff in like every other game is made for guilds, and then you can dismiss it that way? That's nonsense. You can't just say it's for guilds and you get a free pass. It's still $7,000.
We get in those bits. Thank you guys for the bits.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Giant piece of... What a name.
What a name. But what's funny is like there is still this cult for whether it's Crowfall, whether it's Astro Creation, whether it's Chronicles of Illyria, all these games that are kind of like, you know, like anyone crowdfunded, right? There's a bit of a cult following on those games, and you have to be a believer. You have to like take everything. And I think not so much Crowfall. I think Chronicles of Illyria and Astro Creation have a bit more of that cultish following. But I think it's fair to kind of critique a game on like its business decisions of selling $1,000 founders packs or selling $7,000 Imperial Palaces. I mean, it's a bit sketch, and it's just.
Thank you for the sub. 2 months in a row. True dull shot. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and I really think it's part of like it's kind of the sad thing is they kind of used the business model of the Asian games as a selling point of their games. That's the worst part. I remember if you watch the original Chris Roberts like Star Citizen video, it's stuff like, well, they said PC gaming is dead. You know, like I'm gonna bring it back with all this cool stuff. Like it's gonna be like the old days. But it's not turning out that way, is it? You know, we got microtransactions up the wazoo. Did
he really say he's gonna make it like the old days?
Something like that. Like, it's been the years since I saw it, but we can play.
Yeah,
it.
We should watch it again because if he does say that, it's pretty hilarious because of how like old games don't have $20,000 spaceships, you know, $10,000 spaceships. That's like a completely new phenomena through Chris Roberts.
I really think microtransactions have swamped the Western development process, probably even more so than Asian, at least Korean at this point. And these bundles, you can see, they want basically they're selling you the whole game. Here's the thing too. I think you're kind of doing yourself a disservice if you buy this stuff because, like, I remember playing Ultima Online private servers. Oh, we got another sub, Legend Physical. Thank you so much. Another 2-month sub. Nice.
I appreciate it, dude.
I think one of my favorite part of an MMORPG is progressing through the world. And I remember even when I played private servers, like for Ragnarok Online, Ultima Online, I wouldn't pick the server with like the 10,000 times experience. Like that. Some people like that. That's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But for me, I would pick the lower rate servers because I actually liked, the ladder. Like I wanted to be a newbie. I wanted to be the middle person. I wanted to be the high end. That was fun for me. So, but I feel like if I'm going to spend $10,000 on Star Citizen or Crowfall before it's even, and I have like the castle, I have like the armor, I have this war mount, I have all this stuff. Like, what am I progressing for then at that point? Like, it's like a you win button. It's like, what's the point of playing the game if you have everything that you could ever want in the game?
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, if somebody spent like $10,000 on Star Citizen and somebody, get them on the show. I want to hear what they think about the game. I want to talk to someone that spent $10,000 on Stars. That'd be an interesting conversation to have. What do you think about again? I don't know why this is controversial. I think Jib Sterling made a video about microtransactions in games. I have to watch the video. I haven't seen it. I'm going to probably watch it later today now because I just remembered it. Like games like Overwatch or PUBG or really even Terra, where they're selling you cosmetics. I think Jim Sterling made the argument. Again, I haven't seen the video. I'm going to watch it after this. That cosmetics are still no-go. You shouldn't have cosmetics as microtransactions because you bought the game. You should be entitled to all the content.
So he's saying in a buy-to-play game you should have it, or all games.
In a buy-to-play game. I bought the argument to be made for Overwatch. I bought Overwatch. Okay. I should have that Mercy skin.
No, I don't buy that.
And we'll watch that video together after this.
Okay, we'll watch it together. It's like this. You can actually get that Mercy skin if by playing, right? You get the coins. You can open the chest. That's like saying I bought GoldenEye, 64, so I want to play the last level. Yeah, you can just get to the last level. It's not going to be unlocked for you from the beginning just because you paid them for the game. You can unlock all the skins by playing the game. So I don't know what he's complaining about.
Yeah, we'll watch the video together. I'm curious what he said. I like watching Jim Sterling's videos. He hates microtransactions though. And he specifically talks about Overwatch, so that's why I mentioned Overwatch. It's called Pay to Spray, Overwatch, and Microtransaction. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I do like his videos.
Anything else interesting from Gamescom?
Well, I'm not sure if this is from Gamescom, but someone in the chat just mentioned it, so it's worth mentioning. You also covered it in the news. Mu Legend, the beta got delayed 3 months. We were supposed to get it this year. Now we're still going to get it this year. It's technically November, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, it was originally meant to be September, and now it's in November of 2017. So it's a bit unfortunate because the South Korean version came out in March, and here in the global English version, we got to wait until November. So the people in Korea can start playing this game like so long ago, but they're saying they're going to be implementing a lot of the feedback from the Korean version over into the global version. So if that's true, I think we will get a better game in the end. I guess maybe the Koreans got a chance to beta test it for us, and maybe the global version will be better and more up to date. At least it'll launch in a better state, and that's the promise. And actually, what I like about this, that this is actually they actually posted something really interesting. They posted a pretty long Facebook post about why they're doing it. Right? Very often we hear like, okay, it got pushed back, and that's it. Right? When a company is being straightforward with you, right? They explain their thought process, and like they're asking you like, listen, this is why we're doing it. Please bear with us. I can at least, I can understand, and I'm more accepting, and I don't get upset. Like, but if they just say something like, all right, or if they say nothing, right? Or they just say it's delayed 2 months. That's it. We got to finish something. No, that's nonsense. At least they're being more transparent. They explain their thought process, and it's a little better. It makes it a little more palatable.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'd like the fact that they said they're gonna take the feedback from the Korean version to make this version better. Because before you actually linked this, I was about to scream, well, Korea already has it. What are they waiting for? So that tamed me. At least that took me, and that's important. If these guys did not send this communication, my thought process would be, well, it's out in Korea. Why isn't it out here? They just don't care, or they're lazy, or whatever. But just a simple act of publishing this, answered that question.
So yeah, you can see the actual gameplay video. Somebody hasn't seen Mu Legend yet. It's actually it's an isometric MMORPG, so I guess think Path of Exile or Diablo 3, except it's an actual MMORPG. It's not like you can see other players in a persistent world. It's one of the only isometric actual MMORPG games. So it'll kind of keep us interested until Lineage Eternal or Lost Ark come out. I guess maybe it's just the same kind of.
That's a good point. Even with the 3-month delay, I'm sure it's still gonna be Lineage Eternal and everything else to market. So there's
actually FG3000 said Mu Legend is that first look at how Lost Ark and Lineage Eternal will work. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good explanation of it.
It's still gonna be the first of the 3 Korean action RPGs to come out.
Mm-hmm. And it had a closed beta earlier in the year.
Yeah, we played it.
January, February.
It's so crazy that it's taking this long.
Time flies, when we first, that was like,
when was that?
February or January, February for sure, because the Korean version launched. Actually, might have been even earlier than that. Actually, might have been like late 2016. But it was a fun game, and I think it'll do well. People like
what they're waiting
games typically do really well on Steam too. So except it's gonna have more RPG elements, so that alone will kind of differentiate it too.
All right.
More games need to be straightforward. Looking at you, Sega, over there. Your fucking PSO2 still says coming soon, on their official website. The website is still up. It's still up, and they don't even bother to update us. Look at this nonsense. Go to PSO2.com/US. I'll give you the link. Guys, it's still up here. It's coming soon, guys.
Oh my god. You know what I hate? When
the flash.
No, when websites play music when you launch.
I know, I hate it too. You can turn it off at the top right.
I know, I hit it, but
guys, look, Sega and PAX is gonna be there, guys, at Arcade Expo. It's not gonna be this PAX stuff, because they're talking about PSO2.
PAX 2010.
Yeah, PAX 2010. In fact, it links to a blog post that's from 2010 and 2012.
Really?
So
that's funny.
Yeah, so if you click through that, you see the blog post on Sega's official blog, their website. It's so frustrating because they don't even tell you how. Just tell us it's not gonna happen. Just be like, okay, we changed our mind. I'm pretty sure that hasn't even happened yet.
Yep, but that's important. Communication, guys. It's the basis of any
obvious,
strong relationship.
No.
I have a quick.
Their last post was in 2012.
Yep,
about
August.
PSO2.
Good point in chat. Japanese people don't know how to make a clutter-free website. If you guys want to see what the internet looked like in 2010 or earlier, just go to a modern Japanese website, because they're like
Yahoo.co.jp. It's one of the biggest websites in Japan.
Okay, let's go. So their design decisions really haven't evolved since the early 2000s. Look at this, guys. This is
literally what Yahoo looked like 10 years ago.
20 years ago.
I know. This is very odd. Japanese websites typically all tend to look like this. It looks very old school. There's a good Vox video on it, wasn't it? About Japanese web design. Maybe not Vox, but if you search YouTube for Japanese web design, you'll probably get a good explanation of why. And this is, again, Yahoo is huge in Japan, not like America Yahoo, where it's kind of nobody uses it anymore. No, Yahoo Japan is still ginormous. It's one of the biggest websites in Japan, and it looks and almost all big websites in Japan look like this.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome to the 90s internet. It's a good blast from the past.
All right, unfortunately we're wrapping up, but we didn't get to talk about Dauntless, so I want to quickly just talk about that. We played it last Friday, and that was an early access that really felt like an early access. The UI was unfinished. There was a limited number of those little missions you could go on, but we had fun with it. I think I think it was the longest Grindfest Friday we did. Usually we do it for an hour, then we get burnt out for the time, but we kept playing, and I think the action RPG element, where you could just go in and fight, and you're not bogged down by numbers, because remember, you can't see the damage numbers. Maybe that helped us. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but we kept playing it, and we had a good time.
Here's the deal with Dauntless, and the core combat is fun, right? But I think somebody in our chat, who was it? Ren, who played the game quite a bit. The core combat is really fun in Dauntless, because you're dodging attacks, you're timing your attacks. It's a skill-based progression, and you can see yourself improve as you play. And it's that part is done really well. But the problem is, once you get your rotation, it seems like it becomes very mindless and very repetitive at that point. Yeah. We haven't gotten there yet, which is why it was really fun. But I do want to say the core combat is really good in Dauntless. But as you said, the game does feel quite early access. They polish the game up, get a better UI, make it run smooth, over 60 FPS. I mean, it just felt a little stuttery for me. And add more weapons, stuff like that, because there's only 4 weapons right now. But they're adding more. The developers had an AMA on Reddit. They said they're not going to be launching on Steam, by the way, in case you're curious about that. They're not even thinking about a Steam launch right now. they want to add ranged weapons and bunch of other weapons in the game as well. They'll add some more variety to the game because each weapon it kind of is its own playstyle.
Yeah, maybe they have a steep. I think they're gonna get outmaneuvered here. Monster Hunter World comes out early 2018. I think it's gonna take longer than that for them to just get the game up to speed in the number of weapons, the UI, more content, and by then they're gonna be fighting this juggernaut by Capcom, and I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. I think they're gonna be overwhelmed.
They were banking on Monster Hunter World not being on PC, but I think. Because then there would be a huge differentiator between Monster and Dauntless. One's on PC, one's not. One's free to play, one's not. But now, even though Monster Hunter World is not going to be free to play, that's their only differentiator right now. I think you will have again, we haven't played Monster Hunter World yet, but from the videos we've seen, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it's very Dauntless is very clearly inspired by Monster Hunter. So if you can play the real thing on PC, it might have a tough time competing. Free to play part is nice, but it's cost $80 to play in Founders Alpha and $40 in closed beta. Closed beta begins on September 1st, and the game is expected to, I believe, launch free to play later in this year. But it seems pretty crazy. I don't think they can add enough content, add new weapons, and polish the game up by then. So I think when they launch, it'll be like an early access. It'll still be like super unfinished. But the core game was fun, I thought. There's something interesting there.
Their saving grace or their hope is one, Monster Hunter World will come out on PC, but it will come later than the console. So they have some time there. And two, Japanese companies are generally woefully incompetent when it comes to PC ports. So if they screw that up and it takes longer than they expect to come out to PC, that might give Dauntless enough breathing room to get their game out free to play and enough content and interest to kind of go toe to toe. But we will see. Yeah.
Also, Japanese companies having notorious PC ports. Square Enix is getting on the ball with that. Square Enix is doing FF15 on console now. PC rather. They're remaking Secret of Mana as well for PC. So I'm actually pretty hyped about that. Maybe we can talk about Secret of Mana on the post game though.
Okay, speaking of post game, guys, we are out of time, so we will be moving to post game. Thanks again for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, do try to check us live on Twitch. It's a lot of fun here in chat. See you next time.
Later for YouTube.
Peace.